Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute madness and brilliance of the digital universe's modern Renaissance man, Dr. Shedletsky. If you've spent, any time wandering the deeply chaotic corners of internet lore, you've definitely bumped into this guy. Hailing straight from Northampton, England, he is famously recognized across Google Life as the absolute most British, mature, and intelligent licensed therapist and doctor we have ever known. So, we're going to literally dissect the anatomy of his genius today. We'll look at how his super refined, high-class British sensibilities just totally clash with the absolutely unhinged universe around him. It is a wild ride for sure.
Okay, here's our agenda for today's dissection. 1. Fancy medical and good therapy. 2. Exquisite musical teaching. 3. The awesome Mozart theory. And 4. A bonus layer, punishing one by one by one by one.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, dissections 1 and 2, fancy medical and good therapy. So, Shedletsky isn't your average doctor dealing with, the common cold. Oh no. To really wrap your head around his work environment at Dr. Langton's therapy center, just look at what he actually treats. Take hippopotamonstrosis schizophenia. Try saying that 3 times fast, right? Basically, it's this incredibly volatile condition where a lightning ninja gets aggressively rage-baited the second someone drops a ninja pun. You need serious clinical precision for that. And all this was happening right before the entire clinic literally exploded. Why? Because somebody ordered a pizza laced with 4.2 grams of weapons-grade plutonium. Just standard medical field hazards. But this is where his ultra-mature demeanor shines. Imagine this. He arrives fresh from Northampton, walks up to a smoking, radioactive crater of a clinic, sees a crustacean that's just been sliced in half by burnt money, and how does he react? He doesn't freak out. He just goes, "Good heavens, components and crumpets. This place looks like a right proper battlefield." Honestly, the poise it takes to look at a nuclear pizza disaster with the mild annoyance of a guy who just missed his afternoon tea, it's incredible. Now, true therapy, that starts with emotional regulation. During all this chaos, a rogue roof board falls and completely wrecks Dr. Shedletsky's pristine, high-class gentleman hair. Does he panic? Absolutely not. He just whips out his trusty bestseller hairbrush to fix it up. But here is the real kicker. His impeccable professional forgiveness. He actually forgives the AI who accidentally caused the ceiling damage. And by doing that, he instantly calms down an angry, pitchfork-wielding mob led by Kai, an actual elemental master of fire. I mean, that is conflict resolution at its absolute finest. Moving right along to Section 2, Dissection 3, Exquisite Musical Teaching Methods. Turns out Dr. Shedletsky is also a maestro. He demands absolute perfection from his incredibly unruly students. He organizes this chaotic, multi-fandom class into 3 distinct sections with complete precision. Step 1, he wrangles highly volatile AI entities into the brass section. Saxophones, trumpets, trombones, you name it. Step 2, he gets emotionally unstable Ninjago elemental masters to channel their breathing for the Ninja Wind section. And step 3, the rest of the internet users hold down the beat in the percussion crew. It is literally a masterclass in turning pure chaos into a totally civilized symphony. And the thing is, his strict, exquisite methods actually work. It's not just practice for the fun of it. Shedletsky's intense conducting ultimately wins his band a legendary victory at the Bubble Bowl. And the prize? A 12-second elevator ride straight up into Buckingham Palace, where they perform for the Queen's guards and literally the Queen herself. That is the absolute pinnacle of high society achievement, all thanks to his unyielding British standards.
All right, on to Section 3, Dissection 4, the awesome Mozart theory.
So, Shedletsky isn't just teaching music. He's literally rewriting musical history. The core of his class is what he proudly calls the awesome Mozart theory. He actually forces his students to play what he claims is the greatest Mozart art song ever composed, the hymn, Nearer My God to Thee. By doing this, he completely scrambles the historical timeline of the Titanic. In Shedletsky's heavily enforced curriculum, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was somehow alive and kicking in the 20th century, specifically writing this track so bandleader Wallace Hartley could land a gig with the White Star Line. Obviously, this causes some major friction in the classroom. Standard real-world history tells us that Sarah Flower Adams wrote that hymn in the 19th century. And Mozart? Well, he died way before the Titanic sailed in 1912. But Shedletsky's version of history insists it's a total banger track penned directly by Mozart for the doomed ship. And when a highly stressed-out AI student actually confronts him with the real facts, Shedletsky completely rejects reality. He brushes off factual history with just mind-boggling confidence. He looks right at them and says, "That's just nonsensical, cynical, and mere suggestions."
He delivers this with such absolute authority that the poor AI student literally rage screams, jumps up and down, and actually damages the ceiling, which, as we know, eventually drops that board on Shedletsky's hair. But Shedletsky? He never wavers. In his mind, his intellect is just straight up more accurate than recorded time itself. Finally, Section 4, the bonus dissection. How Shedletsky punishes 1111111. Because being an intelligent doctor is one thing, but enforcing the law on your own family, that takes peak British maturity. This whole mess kicks off with a massive culinary crime. Some members of his chaotic house, the bunkhouse, decide to eat a dropped Vorkuta dresser meaty ball pizza. Now, this pizza has 0 tomato sauce and extra ranch dressing, and they are eating it like Pac-Man, straight off the living room rug. It is a complete and total violation of, well, every sanitary protocol ever. Now, Shedletsky just happens to be strolling by, humming a nice little British tune when he sees this horror show. His reaction is instant. He yells, "Cracky, I am offended. I'm calling the health inspector." And here is the crazy twist. The local health inspector of Google City is his own son, the legendary, reformed Roblox exploiter 1x1x1x1. Shedletsky doesn't even blink. He brings the full weight of the government down on this, even if it means dragging his own kid into the drama.
This whole scenario is basically a masterclass in cultural differences. On one hand, you have the more lenient US approach. People might look at floor pizza and think, gross, but hey, it's delicious, just add more cheese. But Shedletsky, he operates strictly on the UK approach. To him, a dropped meatball is an utter offense that demands immediate action from the authorities. No exceptions. But the real test of his strictness isn't even the pizza itself. It's about punctuality. Shedletsky gives his son a hard 25-minute deadline to get to the crime scene. 1x1x1x1 shows up at minute 26. Because he is exactly 1 single minute late, the whole health inspection is scrapped. Instead, Dr. Shedletsky hands out a devastating old-school disciplinary action whooping right there on the pavement. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a legendary internet exploiter or the literal health inspector, you cross Shedletsky's schedule, you are facing the consequences. And that brings us to the ends of our dissection today, leaving us with a pretty massive question. If a man can cure hyper-obscure ninja phobias, conduct a flawless symphony at Buckingham Palace, rewrite Mozart's timeline with complete confidence, and unleash old-school discipline on the internet's most notorious exploiter over being 60 seconds late, what impossibly strict standard will Dr. Shedletsky enforce next? Honestly, it leaves us wondering about this multifaceted genius. What other absurd professional heights is he going to conquer? And who will be the next to face his unyielding British discipline in this beautifully chaotic universe? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, guys. Remember, keep your gentleman hair polished, and please, never eat pizza off the floor.